Welcome back to another episode of the Life and Faith podcast. It's good to see you again, Josh. How have you been?
I've been good. Really good, actually.
That's good. Yeah.
How about you?
I'm great. I couldn't be better.
That's good.
Could not be better. I'm super excited. It's been the fall. It's been fall in Michigan for a while, and that's my favorite season, so it just puts me in a good mood every day. Even if things are difficult or rough or whatever, I still feel good about going outside or going into town to do stuff and, hanging out with my wife when I can, when the time allows or when our schedules allow.
Yeah, fall is like the last hurrah in Michigan before everybody hunkers down.
Yeah, before the hibernation.
Winter.
For the long, slow march through winter. No, it's good in winter too.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little while ago we read some strange news stories, and I just thought that was so much fun that I thought we'd do it again. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I had a blast with that. I'm down for it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I got one especially for you that I picked out here.
Okay, so I'm leading here?
You're leading.
Okay. All right, so first off, we have in Philadelphia, a Phillies fan and his emotional support animal, an alligator named Wally Gator, were denied entrance to watch Philadelphia host Pittsburgh. Oh, he was denied because of his gator, huh? Who would have thought, man? They don't allow gators into the Phillies game. Social media posts showed the gator on a leash with a harness with his name on it outside the stadium Wednesday. Wally Gator is a working emotional support alligator owned by Joey Henney of Jonestown, Pennsylvania. The reptile has a big presence on Instagram and TikTok. Oh, we're talking about a
world famous.
Yeah, like an influencer gator. He's got glasses and everything. Citizens Bank Park's policy on support animals is posted on the Phillies official website. He forgot to read the fine print there. It states, guide dogs, service animals, or service animals in training are welcome. All other animals are prohibited. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going back and reading at the top. He refers to it as an emotional support animal. So if you're wondering the difference, they allow service animals or service animals in training.
I think emotional support animals count as service animals.
Okay. But they're restricting him still.
Yeah.
It says, Henney spoke to the Philadelphia Inquirer last year and said Wally Gator helps him battle depression and that he likes to give hugs. Okay.
I think that would help me if I needed emotional support to have a pet alligator that gave hugs.
Having two little tiny arms wrapped around your shoulder or something like that.
Scaly. A scaly chin.
It's like getting a hug from a
face.
T-Rex.
Yeah,
That's what
right.
I picture. Henney said then that the gator had never bitten anyone. Oh, okay.
Well,
it's a biteless gator.
I think yet is the he should have added yet.
Yeah, that's so yeah, they I wonder if you check on that today, like they've changed it. It says like no gators.
No gators.
This service animals does not include gators.
This is gator discrimination.
I mean, what if that gator identifies as a dog?
I knew that's where we were going to go with this when I read that. I thought, what if the gator wants to be a dog?
Yeah. Who are we to deny?
Could you just see the guy like, this is my emotional support alligator?
Yeah, in case the Orioles beat the Phillies, I'm going to need a lot of support here. That's why I brought my gator.
I'm going to turn him loose on the other team, and that will bring up the emotional support of every Phillies fan.
This begs the question, if you tried that in Florida at a college game, the Florida Gators, would they be discriminatory against Gators?
See, now you're thinking.
You would deny a Gator
at a Gator game? He really missed an opportunity there. That would have been national news at that point, which I think in the AP it's going to be national news. By the way, all these stories come from apnews.com. You can check them out there and read the full story Right. I'll go
Yeah,
with
we're
the
not
next-
making them up.
We're not making them up.
Just
Yep.
like last episode, these are all real stories.
These are real stories. Yes.
Maybe we didn't emphasize that enough the last one. People are like, these guys are making this up.
I'm pretty
Nope.
sure it's a real gator. I didn't look into it, but it's definitely a real story.
Yeah. I bet you could. Well, no, remember, Dan, he's a world famous gator. We can probably just look him up on TikTok.
Yeah, that'll
you-
be what I
confirm
do
it.
later today. An Ohio high school football coach says he was forced to resign by his school district and intended no harm to opposing players after he and his team repeatedly used Nazi as a game call in a September 22nd match. In an interview with the AP Thursday, former Brooklyn high school coach Tim McFarland said he never meant any offense by using the term and that it, quote, didn't even occur to him that it might be taken
Oh,
as
okay.
anti-Semitic.
Okay. Okay, guy.
It didn't occur to him. But the team's use of Nazi has been largely criticized as such, especially given that the plays were called during a game against Beechwood High School, a school based in a largely Jewish Cleveland suburb. A school based in a largely Jewish Cleveland suburb. Peter Patakos, McFarland's lawyer, balked at the idea of the word Nazi being deemed anti-Semitic and said that it is a historical term, not a slur.
Oh, my goodness. That's an uphill battle right there.
I mean,
There's not. What kind of. This is what the guy's thinking. What kind of negative connotations could Nazi have? Please.
that's not a slur.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's one of those things that people are trying to start like, hey, I am Jewish. Therefore, I can say this word. I can say that.
Citing an high school coaching book from the 1990s, Patakos said, Nazi is often used in football to warn teammates of what is known as a blitz. Beechwood School's Superintendent Robert Hardis and the Beechwood Board of Education said in a news release that McFarland's statement shows that he is, quote, demonstrating further ignorance and, quote, succeeds in taking a terrible situation and making it worse. The Ohio High School Athletic Association said it does not track the names of certain plays or calls used by high schools, but that they are aware of the situation and that offensive language has no place in sports at any level. McFarland, who has been coaching for 43 of his 70 years of age, said he was asked to resign by Brooklyn schools and felt that he had no choice in the matter. He also said he ordered his players to stop using the call just before halftime when Beechwood officials brought it to his attention. McFarland said that he offered to personally apologize to any of the Beechwood players the call may have offended, but Beechwood said that it was not necessary.
So what? I don't. It may not have said, but or maybe I missed it. What was the context of them using it? Like, were
Because
they?
to warn of a blitz.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Okay.
I didn't play football.
Yeah.
But it said here that it's commonly used in football. So maybe you football players out there can tell me if you've ever heard of such a thing.
I've heard a lot of random words being used on the field. Like you can hear sometimes the quarterback yelling something, and so you kind of get like certain I'm thinking of Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning you always heard him saying Omaha, Omaha, and that really, if you watch it, like that could mean several different plays. So it wasn't just one play, but he was communicating something with that. But man, I've never heard, especially in the NFL, since anybody say Nazi.
Well, I mean, if it's a common practice, it's probably one we should
He's like,
stop doing.
He's like, guys, this is a play. I'm calling a play. Like, we have an outline play called Nazi. Okay, let's see. This one is in Gainesville, Florida. A 10-year-old Florida boy. Oh, here we go. You know it's going to be good when it's not the Florida man, it's the Florida boy. And his 11-year-old sister, who were running away to California, drove 200 miles. For those of you on the other side of the pond, that's 320 kilometers, in their mother's car before they were stopped by sheriff's deputies on an interstate highway, authorities said. The Alachua County Sheriff's Office says deputies spotted the sedan on Interstate 75 near Gainesville in North Florida just before 4 a.m. Thursday. The children's mother had reported it stolen and her children missing 4 hours earlier in Northport, a city in southwest Florida. The deputies, thinking that they were dealing with car thieves, drew their guns and ordered those inside the car to step out.
I mean, they were dealing with car thieves in
yeah,
their defense.
Underage car thieves, at least. Much to their surprise, deputies observed a 10-year-old male driver exit the vehicle along with his 11-year-old sister. The department said in a statement. How far did they get? It said
200 miles.
200 miles. Wow, that's kind of impressive that a 10-year-old can drive that well.
I mean, that's basically 4 hours of driving.
I mean, he would have to know like how to get on the highway and
yeah,
follow speed
keep it
limit
between
signs
keep it between the lines and
man. The children told deputies the girl had been upset that their mother had taken away her electronic devices for misbehaving. Oh, here we go. So the boy was driving her to California. Like, what does she say to persuade her brother to drive her all the way to California? It'll be fun, you know.
What are we gonna do when we get there?
Go out there and get some people in that we, you know, the TikTok people. They all live in L.A. The children were interviewed by detectives who said there were no indication that they had been mistreated by their mother or anyone else in the home. Well, according to them, they were mistreated because they took away their electronic devices. The horror. The mother declined to press charges, and the children were released to her. The names of the mother and children were not released. Wow. So they had been through a horrific experience. Their electronic devices were taken away from them. It's something.
That's dedication. I mean, you know, you get your stuff taken away and you're like, this is it.
Imagine
Imagine
the last conversation, like, you know, of course, I'm sure there was a screaming match as typically with those kinds of households where it's like, he took away my devices. You know, like some words were exchanged. And, I'm going to run away to California. And the parents were like, fine, go ahead. Having no idea that they would actually go and do it.
Load up their wagon with their backpack and walk down the road. And instead, they're like, I'm getting the keys. Hop in. That's dedication, though. I mean, that kid's going places.
Yeah, literally. You know? California.
On that note, this is a feel-good story. A 2-year-old girl who walked away from her home in Michigan's Upper Peninsula alongside 2 family dogs was found in the woods hours later sleeping on the smaller dog like a furry pillow, state police said. She laid down and used one of the dogs as the pillow, and the other dog laid right next to her and kept her safe. It was really a remarkable story. Troopers used drones and police dogs in search while local police and citizens from both Michigan and adjacent Wisconsin helped to look for the girl in the remote wooded area. Troopers from Michigan State Police's Iron Mountain Post had been called to a home in the Faithorn area of Menominee County about 8 p.m. Wednesday after the girl wandered away. Around midnight, a citizen on an ATV found the girl about 3 miles from her home. The girl was checked by medical staff and appeared to be in good health. Faithorn is an uncooperated village located just east of the Wisconsin state line, about 60 miles southwest of Marquette, Michigan. If you know anything about Upper Peninsula, Michigan, it is dense.
Yeah.
Dense forest area for miles and miles. I mean, untouched by man, you know.
So this girl just wandered away? Is that what the story was?
She walked away from her home, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And the dogs
followed
knew
her.
to care for her.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
fantastic.
One more reason why dogs are better than cats. The cats would have just went back home.
Yeah. Where are you going? See ya.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Like when animals, I've seen that so many times where animals will recognize like children as like, okay, there's something in animals that recognize these are children. You know, they're not the same as adults, and they care for them like children. It's amazing.
Yeah, you see those videos of like a baby laying at the face of a great big Rottweiler or something, and they're like pulling on their lips and cheeks, and the dog's just like, I love you.
Yeah, like I wouldn't let an adult do this, but I understand like something inherent in animals is like, yeah, you're a baby. Like,
yeah.
Same. They recognize that with other animals of their species, right? But then also like human children, they're like, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Madison, Wisconsin. Some names are just the worst. And that is WURST. I already know where this is going.
The worst.
The cheeseheads. We're in cheese land here. Just 4 months after announcing that the hot dog shaped Wiener Mobile was changing its name to Frank Mobile.
Mobile. Wiener Mobile. Right?
Wiener. Yeah. You're
you know
right.
what I'm talking about? You know
not Mobile, Alabama. It's Wiener Mobile. Yep. Yeah, like the Oscar Mayer, right?
It is that.
Oh, okay. Oh, it is. I just have to read. I just have to keep reading. To the Frank Mobile, the distinctive wiener on wheels is reverting to the original. Oscar Mayer, which has several of the vehicles, announced Wednesday on Instagram that the Frankmobile is toast. Like not literally toast, but
Well, I know we kind of dropped the through line on that one.
yeah. Toasted hot dog buns?
Yeah, I know.
The Wienermobile rides again. The name change announced by the Kraft Heinz Company in May was meant to pay homage to the brand's 100% beef franks and their new recipe. For fans of the original name, the change was frankly ridiculous. Back to you. No, I'm just kidding. That's not. It's been a franktastic summer, the Instagram post said. But like you, we missed this wonderful icon. Help us welcome back the Wienermobile. Oscar Mayer was headquartered in the Wisconsin capital of Madison for nearly 100 years before it moved to Chicago in 2015. The first Wienermobile was created in 1936, and it has gone through several iterations since then. Those who drive Wienermobiles around to promotional events are known as hot doggers. Oh, boy. Perhaps the most famous hot dogger is former U.S. House Speaker Paul Ryan. Okay, I did not know that about former House Speaker, who drove a Wienermobile one summer while in college. Ah, okay. One summer, that's...
I remember my days on the Wienermobile. They let people drive it for like promotion or for charity promotional events.
Okay.
I may or may not have looked into it.
I remember as a kid, I saw a Wienermobile one time outside of, they don't have these stores up here, but in Texas where I grew up, they had stores called Albertsons. And I remember there was one in the parking lot one time. As a kid, I was like, what in the world?
Giant wiener on wheels.
Yeah.
A woman was rescued Tuesday from an outhouse toilet in northern Michigan after she climbed in to retrieve her Apple Watch and became trapped. The woman, whose name was not released, lowered herself into the toilet after dropping the watch in the Department of Natural Resources boat launch at Dixon Lake in Otsego County, Bagley Township. State police said Wednesday in a release. First responders were called when the woman was heard yelling for help.
Falling down the well.
Honey, do you hear something? Listen, if there's a voice coming from a toilet, I wouldn't go toward it.
No. I'm picturing some kind of clown head or something.
The toilet was removed and a strap was used to haul the woman out. If you lose an item in an outhouse toilet, do not attempt to venture inside the containment area. Serious injury may occur. I think there's more reasons than just that.
Yeah.
The state police did not say Wednesday if the woman was injured or if the watch was recovered. I mean, first of all, nothing is worth climbing into the bottom. I mean, what does an Apple Watch cost? It's got to be like $1,000.
I
have no idea how much they cost.
Yeah.
I would take whatever that fee is. I would pay that fee to not climb into the bottom of an outhouse.
Yeah, if somebody's about to throw me into an outhouse, I would say, please don't throw me in here. I'll pay you $1,000.
I'll buy you 2 Apple Watches.
Yeah.
For the cost of not climbing in. I mean, what could be so important?
If it was anything but Apple, I think she would not have said. But it had the app that had the Macintosh Apple. Yeah, I think I actually read that article here recently, and it said something about how I read it from a different source, but it said it was the second story like that in recent times where somebody had jumped in and out an outhouse like that. Like it's for some reason people are doing it more frequently. I forget what the other person was jumping in for, but they had lost something else and they jumped in there. So,
I mean, could you imagine anything more scary than, first of all, hearing a voice from an outhouse, and secondly, from approaching the outhouse?
yeah.
I mean, you're only going to see a clown.
Yeah. That's the only logical
That's the only
thing you're thinking of, yeah. Like, am I in a movie right now?
Yeah, this is how axe
Is this a
murder
YouTube
movies
prank,
get
or-
started.
Yeah. Like when they say, don't go in there. Like they're talking about that moment.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know. It's amazing she was ever found, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot.
All right. Next one here. This one's in Paris. Police arrested a man climbing Thursday on the Eiffel Tower, leading to visitors being temporarily stranded at the summit, including a reporter for the Associated Press and a Washington, D.C. couple who decided during the wait to get married. What? Amir Khan had been planning to propose to Kat Warren later Thursday in a Paris garden away from the crowds, with a romantic dinner on the river
Seine.
Thank you. Also on the menu. But when the lifts were temporarily shut down because of the climber stranding the couple and others at the top, Khan decided to spring his surprise. I figured we might be here longer than I imagined, Khan told the AP reporter, so I didn't want to miss dinner. And she always wanted to be proposed to on or under the Eiffel Tower, so I figured this is it. This is the moment. And the answer? Yes, of course. He had a pretty good chance of me saying yes all along, Warren said, laughing. Besides, when trapped at the top of a 1,083-foot tower, how can anyone say no? Can you imagine how awkward that would be, riding the rest of the way and just sitting up there? Okay. The climber was found between the tower's second and third floors, and the communications director for the Paris landmark, a specialist team of climbing firefighters, led the man down and police arrested him. I did not know that existed in the fire department, a team of climbing firefighters.
I think if I was going to climb a landmark, though, that would be the one to climb.
The Eiffel Tower?
Yeah, because the rest of them are straight up and down.
Yeah.
But that one has kind of an angle, so you'd be like more inclined to stay,
Maybe the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, something that's not vertical would be the one to climb.
Don't climb the Empire State Building.
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I don't suspect anybody would want to, so I wouldn't suspect you'd need to make a law.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The Life and Faith podcast does not advocate any of our listeners climbing any kind of building in any shape or form. Thank you.
Except for, no. A Georgia man was left reeling after receiving a $1.4 million speeding ticket. But city officials said the figure was just a placeholder and not the actual fine. Connor Cato said he received the citation after getting pulled over in September for driving 90 in a 55.
Oh.
He called the court thinking the figure was a typo, but he was told either he had to pay it or appear in court in December. Savannah officials say anyone caught driving more than 35 miles an hour over the speed limit has to appear in court, where a judge will determine the actual fine. The figure Cato received reflected a placeholder that was automatically generated by e-citation software used by the local recorder's court, said Joshua Peacock, a spokesman for Savannah city government. The actual fine cannot exceed $1,000 in addition to state-mandated costs. We do not issue that placeholder as a threat to scare anybody into court, even if this person heard differently from somebody in our organization. He added, the court is currently working on adjusting the placeholder language to avoid any confusion. So I think what I took from the story was he called up and he said, I got this ticket. And it says I owe $1.4 million. And we all have somebody that we work with that would be the guy to go, you got to pay it, buddy.
Yeah. Yep. Whatever it says, you got to pay.
Hey, we don't fool around here at the state government.
Yeah.
You need to get in here and pay that money.
We're gonna make an example out of you.
Yeah. He's like, they'll look logic in the face and go, nope, this can't be right. And they'll go, well, so if it says 1.4 million, hey, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
You got to pay.
It's the letter of the law. No, it would be like you would sit there and you've got this fine that you got to pay, and then they're thinking, what in the world? Why do I have to pay this amount? And then you try to fight it, and they just determine they're going to make an example out of you. And they have all these graphs that show, see, ever since this example, what's it called, like traffic fines, traffic fees, they've gone down because less people are speeding.
That's right.
It's effective.
You made an example of him.
Results. All right, this one is from Anchorage, Alaska. When it comes to packing on the pounds to survive an Alaskan winter, this year's undisputed champ is Grazer. Grazer, also known as Bear 128 to the fans of Fat Bear Week at Alaska's Katmai. I'm sorry for any of you Alaskans listening that if I'm butchering some of these names. The National Park and Preserve. They won this year's contest handily, defeating Chunk defeating Chunk 108,321 to 23,134. So if you're doing the math there, that's like 80,000 points in the finals. This is the finals, okay? This is how
serious business.
This is the gap between the competition there in the top of the best of the best. The annual contest, which this year drew more than 1.3 million votes from dedicated fans watching the Bears live at explore.org, is a way to celebrate the resiliency of the brown bears that live on the preserve of the Alaskan Peninsula, which extends from the state's southwest corner toward the Aleutian Islands.
Yeah.
Viewers of Alaska's most watched popularity contest are glued to computer screens all summer long to see which bears are stocking up the most on salmon. Oh, so that's how they get points. How many salmon? They then vote in tournament-style brackets over the course of a week, advancing bears to the next round until a champion is crowned. Grazer took the title Tuesday. According to Grazer's biography on the Katmai website, the large adult female is often one of the fattest bears to collect salmon on Brooks River inside Katmai. Yeah.
So are you fat shaming that bear?
This is...
It's one of the fattest bears you've ever seen.
This is discriminatory. Park officials call her one of the best anglers in the park, fishing day or night from many different parts of the river, even chasing down fleeing salmon. Grazer is one of an estimated 2,200 bears that call Katmai home. A true mama bear, she is known to attack larger bears, even adult males, to ensure her cubs are safe. She's used her skills to successfully raise 2 litters of cubs. So she's a Alaskan champion, and she's a mom.
Yeah.
So she does all that while mothering cubs.
She tears it up.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never heard of that before. Like, I kind of want to watch that now. Like, I'd probably get bored pretty quick, but
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
I what struck me about that one was it got 1.3 million votes, and I was like, how many people voted for president in Alaska?
Yeah.
I think it was something somewhere in the neighborhood of 300,000.
Oh, this is more important, though.
This is way more. Gets way more
Yeah.
draw than
That president stuff, that's all the way down there, miles and miles away. This is in our own backyard. Bears. Maybe if what's the bear's name? Maybe if Grazer were to run for mayor or even governor of Alaska, maybe they'd stand a better chance.
I'd vote for.
Probably has some better policies than some candidates.
Drain the swamp.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you read this one because I want to read the next one. It'll be the last one.
Okay. All right. This one's in Janesville, Wisconsin. A live cluster bomblet and ammunition have been found in a donation dropped off at a thrift shop in southeastern Wisconsin. Oh, man. This is some kind of like, what's it called? Like Hatfields and McCoys or something going on there? An employee at the Janesville Goodwill made the discovery while conducting inventory Friday morning, according to the Janesville Police Department. The store and surrounding area were evacuated as a bomb squad was called in to remove the small bomb and ammunition. Employees quickly followed safety protocols by informing store and donation center management and safety teams, who then evacuated the building out of precaution for shoppers, donors, and employees. Goodwill Industries of southeastern Wisconsin said in a statement to that news station, the store and donation center resumed operations shortly after 1:30 p.m. Friday. The statement continued. Bomblets are part of cluster bombs, which contain multiple explosive submunitions. Used during the battle, the bombs can be dropped from planes or fired from the ground. Janesville police were trying to determine who left the bomblet and ammunition at the Goodwill store. Somebody actually thought that was a good idea to drop off like an old piece of a bomb, I guess.
It was like the wife was like, I'm just going to throw all that junk in the Goodwill.
Yeah.
And the husband was like, fine. And he forgot his bomblets were in there.
Stuff from the war.
Yeah. You got those old war antiques that mean nothing. They're no value. I'm just going to throw them out. And the husband's like, fine.
They find who did it, and they interview him, and they said, did you know that this was a live bomb or something like that? And they're like, oh, it's been sitting in my man cave for years.
It was a what now? Did you ever see that? Do you ever watch Pawn Stars?
Yeah, yep.
Did you ever see the one where the guy brings in a landmine? They're like,
no.
He's like, I can't buy that, and you can't own it. So we need to do something about it.
And you're on TV now, so.
All right. A New York City police officer lost his left ring finger up to the first knuckle when a reckless driving suspect bit him.
Oh, man. Bit it clean off.
Lenny Rodriguez Cruz, 28, could be sentenced to 25 years in prison for leading police on a wild car chase, crashing into several vehicles and biting a sergeant who was trying to put him in a holding cell.
This guy's a menace.
Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz said. The episode started shortly before midnight on September 20th. A police officer patrolling in the Jamaica section of Queens spotted Rodriguez Cruz driving a car with license plates that weren't registered to the vehicle, Katz said in a news release. The officer tried to pull Rodriguez Cruz over, but he sped off, mounted a sidewalk, drove through a park, scattered the park goers, and they ran to safety. Mounted a sidewalk, drove through a park, scattering park goers. The officer tried to pull Rodriguez over, but he sped off. Okay. When officers finally pulled Rodriguez out of his car, his breath smelled of alcohol, his speech was slurred, and there was a cup containing an alcoholic beverage inside the car. Officers took Rodriguez Cruz into local police station where he spit on the sergeant and bit the sergeant's fingertip off.
This is just another day in New York City.
He was arraigned Wednesday on charges including assaulting a police officer and driving under the influence and driving without a license. A phone call to his attorney was not immediately returned.
Oh man, that's you said did that say it was in Jamaica, Queens?
Yeah, the Jamaican district.
Okay.
I don't know what that.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost certain that was the district where we stayed. We either stayed there or that was like primarily where. So when I was younger, I took a mission trip to New York City, and I'm pretty sure we stayed in a hotel in Jamaica, Queens. And that was an interesting location. Now, all of New York City is pretty interesting, but that, like, you meet some interesting characters. I think one of the last days we were there on the trip, I think we were getting ready to leave, and we were all in the lobby, and this random guy walks in, and I don't think he was staying there. I started having a shouting match with somebody across the desk, and like, typically you're in hotels, there's a professionalism of the people there. No, it was straight up like New Yorkers like yelling out, "You get out of here! No, you get out of here!" And I just remember, so he's in one breath cursing out this guy across the desk for whatever reason. We never figured out what the issue was. But on the other hand, he's looking at us, seeing somehow, I guess the way we're dressed or something that I think we actually had shirts that said that we were on a mission trip and oh, you guys are at church or whatever. So he's having this two conversations going at the same time. On one breath, red face and yelling at this guy, then turning to us and be like, "God bless you guys." The same conversation. And so we were staying at the Ramada, and he kept referring to it as the Ramadan. This is the Ramadan. He's like, "I'm never coming to this Ramadan again." And he's like, "God bless you guys."
You're like, "Thank you, sir. Please go away."
It was so funny. But this scene that you just read, that makes perfect sense. It was Jamaican Queens. Of course it is.
Yeah, well, if you befriend the crazy people, then when they act crazy, they'll be cool to you.
Yeah, and you could meet them that day. And if somebody crosses you, they'll jump in and defend you.
They'll act like a crazy
that's just
person
the way
to
they
them,
are,
yeah.
right? New Yorkers are so passionate about every little thing. This coffee is too hot.
Okay, well, that was it for today. We thank you again for listening. These episodes are for fun, just to be lighthearted. We do talk about a lot of serious stuff, so it's just fun to break away from that a bit and do something a little less serious.
Yeah, absolutely. Life can be fun. God made life to be enjoyed, and yeah, there's some place for both, right?
And sometimes you just gotta bite the finger off of a police officer. Life and Faith Podcast does not advocate biting off the fingers of any public servants. You've been listening to the Life and Faith Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay up to date on all our episodes, like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.